So you were outside taking a nice long walk in the woods today. Did you bring home a hungry hitchhiker, no larger than the head of a pin? A creepy crawly bug that just wants a little blood for a meal? Perhaps a few days later he had flu-like symptoms or a bullseye rash. You may have been bitten by the deer tick that causes Lyme's. My story begins in 1993. I worked in Indianapolis, Indiana for mosquito control. My employer wanted all of his employees to have the pesticide license. So he sent me to Ball State for a 2-day class. During this class, we spoke about Lyme disease. Very short amount of time, but they gave us a poster and they gave us a display of ticks. Little did I know at the time, our 13 acres sat right in the middle, the hot spot marked in black of the tiny deer tick territory. To keep your family, you and your family safe from being infected with this complicated disease, today I would like to spend a few minutes discussing first what Lyme's disease is, its cause, what happens in the early and late stages of Lyme infection, and how to become protected from being infected. First, let's look at the definition of Lyme disease. According to Jennifer Sisk, Children's Encyclopedia of Health, it is an inflammatory systematic disease that is caused by bitten by a deer tick carrying the Lyme disease. Once the tick bites its human host, that spirochete is transmitted in the tick's saliva. The Center for the Disease Control and Prevention suggests that the tick must be attached to the body for 36 hours in order to transmit the Lyme disease. Although clinical signs have been reported for more than 100 years, the disease was not recognized until 1975. Now that we know what Lyme is, what are the signs and symptoms of the disease in its early and late stages? WebMD explains the early stages of Lyme. You may experience flu-like symptoms, beginning with a stiff neck, headaches, fatigues, muscle aches, and joint pain. One of the earliest and most important signs is the bullseye rash that's shown right here. It may be raised, it may be flat, it's warm to the touch, and it may be paler in the center of the rash. If the disease is caught in the early stages, it can completely be cured by antibiotics. If the patient has no signs or symptoms, or they decide to just completely ignore the signs and symptoms, a more complicated infection may spread to other parts of the body. It may be the heart, the nervous system, and the joints. Some of the neurological symptoms that have been attributed to Lyme's is Bell palsy, which is paralyzed muscles of the face, numbness, pain, and weakness in the limbs, and poor coordination. More subtle changes have been associated with Lyme's, which are memory loss, difficulty with concentration, changes in mood or sleep habits. Armed with this knowledge of Lyme, what it is and what the signs and symptoms are, how can we protect ourselves against being infected? Of course, the best way to protect yourself is to completely stay away from the Lyme tick to begin with. The National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Disease and the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention have written a preventative suggestions to avoid getting Lyme's disease. The first is to wear a long, light-colored shirt with long sleeves and long pants, light-colored of course, so that tuck your shirt in, and when you look at these clothing then you can spot these little ticks on your clothing. Also, to spray your clothing with bug spray. Keep your yard litter free, grass low, free of bush of any kind. If you're pregnant, stay away from Lyme disease infection areas because your fetus may be able to be infected. Once you're indoors, check for ticks. Look at your clothing, check your body, especially the hairy parts of your body to see if there are any ticks there. Now that you know what Lyme's is, the signs and symptoms, how to protect yourself, perhaps we will have less cases of Lyme reported in the future. In conclusion, I hope that what you've learned tonight will keep your family safe from this tiny tick. My husband has fought the Lyme's disease for 2.5 years. He has some of the neurological symptoms, such as memory loss, poor concentration, and low concentration. Poor coordination is also a factor. He knows firsthand how debilitating the fatigue is, and it has finally found treatment that will involve 30 IVs to get the Lyme in his body under control. Knowledge is power. Learn all you can learn to prevent becoming a victim of this hungry hitchhiker that may destroy your life as you know it. Thank you for spending your time with me this evening.
Very good.